It's a beautiful morning here in Canada, and I just want to express my solidarity with the people of Ukraine. And your struggle to resist the invaders is just and righteous, and I wish you well. And it seems that you have been doing very well. I've been paying very close attention. This week on our radio show, which airs every Saturday at 10 a.m. in Prince George on C4 88.7 FM, and every Monday at noon in Winnipeg at CKUW 95.9 FM, or you can see the video version right here on my YouTube. We are hoping to have Michael Senikoff, which is Pete's really good friend from the Ukraine. He's escaped Kharkov. Apparently he's okay, so it'll be 5 in the morning when we do a recording there for him. Maybe we can bump it up or something, work it out, but really excited that we might get a chance to get some frontline reports. I've been paying very close attention to what's been going on in Ukraine. I'm excited that there's been so much success so far, which would have been in the Russians' mind a several-day operation has turned into a war they may not be able to win. Exact figures are really hard to come by right now. The last report I heard last night was that 11 Russian commanding officers have been killed, including 3 generals. That's notable for itself. Figures on deaths from Russia have been 500 for several weeks now, and Ukrainians are claiming 12,000 Russians killed, and I don't think it really matters. It's definitely the hardware that's being taken out that's going to make the biggest difference, and that's why Stinger anti-aircraft missiles and the Javelin anti-tank missiles are such important things to be funneling in Russia. Russia has been defeated in a war before, not in the so recent past, using very similar means in Afghanistan in the 1980s. Well, by 1987, there were so many Stinger missiles in Afghanistan, they were shooting down those Mi-24 helicopters left, right, and center, and several hundred were shot down that year alone. So the Russian war became very costly for them at that point. And it certainly had a big part to do with the destabilization of the Soviet Union. So we see some similar things happening where Ukrainians are claiming more than 80 Russian helicopters have been shot down. Figures on fighters shot down have ranged from 40, 50, 60, I'm not sure, or aircraft shot down, I should say. So no one's sure exactly. Hundreds of Russian tanks apparently have been knocked out of action. We've seen on the YouTube, I've seen footage of Russian tanks walking into ambushes where they come down a street and then suddenly close range, those short range Javelin anti-tank missiles hit them and catch them, and then the other ones can't escape easily because they can't go forward at least because the one in the front's knocked out, or they can't go backwards because one behind them's knocked out. So very sophisticated tactics being used against them. I seen footage yesterday of a drone that was flying over a Russian column, and it was directing artillery, and then these artillery strikes came in and destroyed a bunch of Russian vehicles. Again, exact numbers I don't know. Some say 16 or 20, and it doesn't matter. It's the effect is that these things keep happening, and the Ukrainians are having success. When Russian cruise missiles were shot into Ukraine this weekend, a number of them were shot down by anti-aircraft defense systems. So these are really costly things for the Russians that will definitely grind down their ability to wage war on the offensive. Kharkov especially, you know, and I mean, we're seeing some of the cities being surrounded now in Ukraine. Much like Stalingrad, many of the citizenry hasn't left. They stayed and they're fighting and they're planning to fight. And the Russians are going to have to go in and clear those cities in order to it's going to be very costly and difficult and a long grinding battle, and they may not be up to the task. It seems that the Russian military doesn't have the initiative in terms of morale. All the morale is on the side of the Ukrainians right now. Zelensky, for being somewhat of a television clown, has proved himself to be an inspirational leader for Ukraine at this time. The Russians would of course love to roll back the boundaries of their empire to those Caucasus Mountains and have control of that whole section, you know, and it strategically makes sense why they'd want that. And I think they thought Ukraine would sort of welcome them as liberators walking in, or would appreciate joining the Russian Federation, but nothing seems to be further from the truth. And even Russian Ukrainians, of Russian descent or Russian-speaking Ukrainians, seem to be coming on side against the Russians. There's been many acts of resistance within Russia, so my solidarity is with you as well. Last night, a television reporter was doing a newscast giving the official line on what's going on. And one of the people from the television station came in the background, and she had a sign basically saying the war is a lie. And it had a whole bunch of things on it that were against the official story. And she's been arrested and is in jail now. There's been thousands of people protesting who've been arrested. And some of the footage of the Russian police fighting back has been quite brutal. Media outlets are now all but censored to a point of totalitarianism in Russia. One of the anti-war movements in the 80s that had great effect in the Soviet Union was the mothers of the Russian soldiers, Soviet soldiers, and grandmothers protesting, and that seems to be happening as well. And that's definitely very difficult for Putin to disregard. Japan has taken the initiative as well and grabbed the Kuril Islands. So now, as Russia is trying to gain what they call their historic territory, these disputed islands north of Japan are now being claimed by Japan. And what's Russia going to do about it? Am I concerned about a broadening of the war into a full-scale conflict? Definitely. That's a distinct possibility. The nuclear saber is being rattled around, and that's terrifying. It's not been since my childhood in the 80s that kind of thing was happening like this. Can NATO afford not to intervene? This is a difficult question now. How far will an emboldened Putin go? Can he just keep saying, well, I'll blow you all up, and just keep getting more and more of what he wants? That's a difficult situation we're now in globally, and this is why nuclear weapons have always been a bad idea to be in the arsenal of our nations, and this is what it will possibly lead to, is great catastrophe. Meanwhile, though, the economic fallout is going to be huge, especially if China gets involved, and then suddenly there's a bunch of sanctions going on. I don't know if China is interested in helping the Russians per se. Certainly, I think this has made it difficult for them to move on Taiwan. So I'm not sure if strategically this was in China's interest for Russia to do this. So yeah, these are difficult questions, right? We know with the price of gas rising that working class people are going to feel that pinch. I don't know how I'm going to afford to work. And a lot of people are feeling that same fear right now. You know, and is this how the Green Revolution comes about? Or is this how a significant population falls into poverty? And we have not been prepared for what the writing's been on the wall for a long time, with the end of the age of oil, with climate change, with nuclear war, with the Russians, with the Americans' military expansionism. The Russians are basically reacting to American global hegemony, but I'm on the side of the Ukrainians for sure. I hope it doesn't turn into a broader war. I hope other nations don't seize the initiative, like Iran's Revolutionary Guard firing missiles into Kurdish territory this weekend. We may see more conflict erupt, and this is what happened in World War II as well. Conflicts that weren't even associated with the direct war. Yeah, these are very concerning times, and definitely everything as you know it's about to change. The Ukrainians on the front line for the fight for freedom, for the fight for a future. I wish them all the best, and if I was a younger man, maybe I'd go and get involved or something like that. But my fight here is in fire season in the forests of British Columbia. That's where my war is. The Ukrainians have managed to attack, disable, or destroy 2 Russian warships. So on top of tanks, trucks, armored personnel vehicles, aircraft, helicopters, destroyed missile sites, Ukrainians have also managed to damage some of the Russian Navy. You ever get the feeling it's like the bad sequel? It's like the USSR Part 2, back, badder than ever. It's like, didn't I live through all this shit already? Didn't this end? Nothing's ever over, I guess. Struggle on, my Ukrainian friends. Wish you luck.